Heracles and the 12 Labours. Heracles, the greatest of the divine heroes in Greek mythology, known in the West by his Roman name Hercules, was the son of the god Zeus and the mortal Alcmene. There are many stories of Heracles' strength and heroism, but the most well-known centers around the 12 labors he was forced to perform. Driven mad by the goddess Hera, Heracles slew his own children, and to atone for his crime, he had to perform 10 tasks or labors set out by his arch-enemy Eurystheus, who eventually raised the number to 12. The 12 labors of Heracles. Slay the Nemean lion. With his bare hands, Heracles killed a lion that was attacking the city of Nemea, wearing its fur as a cloak afterward to demonstrate his victory. Slay the Hydra. The Hydra, a fire-breathing monster with the body of a lion and 9 serpent heads, was considered unbeatable. Heracles, along with Lolith, was able to kill it, but it was not easy. Every time they cut off a head, 2 more would grow in its place. Eventually, Heracles and Lolith cut off all the heads and sealed the wounds with fire, preventing the Hydra from regenerating. Capture the golden Cyrenian hind. Instead of killing the hind, Heracles had to capture it alive and present it to Eurystheus. He chased it for over a year, and upon catching it, was told to hand it over to the king. When he realized his hold on it, however, it bounded back from whence it came. Capture the Erymanthian boar. A wild and powerful boar was on the loose and had to be captured and brought to Mycenae. Heracles successfully captured the beast after listening to advice from Sharma. Cleaned the Augean stables in one day. King Augeas had a stable of divine cattle whose feces were poisonous and voluminous. By rerouting the rivers Alpheus and Peneus, Heracles was able to accomplish the seemingly impossible feat of cleaning them in a single day. Slay the Stymphalian birds. Sacred to Ares, the Stymphalian birds had beaks of bronze and were incredibly violent, overrunning Arcadia. Since the birds had migrated into a swamp, Heracles had to get creative, utilizing a rattle given to him by Hephaestus to scare the birds into the air, then shooting them down with his bow and arrow. Capture the Cretan bull. A wild bull was causing havoc on the island of Crete, and Heracles was tasked with capturing the beast. With his bare hands, he wrestled the bull to the ground, successfully capturing it and sending it back to the mainland. Steal the mares of Diomedes. King Diomedes of Thrace had trained his horses to eat human flesh, and Heracles was tasked with bringing these mares back to King Eurystheus. Heracles headed to Thrace and stayed awake all night until Diomedes fell asleep before cutting the bronze manger the horses were tied to. Heracles chased the mares to the end of the peninsula before digging a ditch around them, creating an island. Eventually, Diomedes appeared, and Heracles slew him, feeding him to the mares and calming them down so that he could sew their mouths shut and take them back to Eurystheus. Obtained the belt of Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. Next, Heracles was tasked with retrieving the belt of the queen of the Amazons, a fearsome group of warrior women. Hippolyta was impressed with Heracles' exploits and was ready to give him the belt. However, Hera, who despised Heracles, had appeared before the Amazons, saying that someone wanted to steal the queen away. The Amazons confronted Heracles, who then believed this had all been a plot by Hippolyta to kill him. Heracles killed the Amazons, including Hippolyta, and took the belt. Obtained the cattle of the monster Geron. On Eurystheus' orders, Heracles traveled west to steal cattle from the massive giant Geron. The giant attacked Heracles, but was no match for his archery skill. One of Heracles' arrows pierced Geron's forehead. Heracles obtained the cattle, and despite interference from Hera, was able to take them back to Eurystheus. Steal the apples of the Hesperides. Eurystheus claimed that slaying the Hydra because Lolos helped him, and cleaning the Augean stables because the rivers did the work, did not count, and gave Heracles 2 more labors. Heracles was tasked with stealing the apples of the evening nymphs, the Hesperides. After finding the garden of the Hesperides, Heracles found the god Atlas there, holding up the heaven. Since Heracles could not reach the apples himself, he asked Atlas to grab them while he held up the heavens. Atlas agreed and got the apples. However, he then decided that he did not want to return to holding up the heavens. Heracles tricked Atlas into giving him the apples, saying that he would remain to hold up the heavens, but first he needed Atlas to hold the heavens while he adjusted his claw. Capture and bring back Cerberus. For the final labor, Heracles was tasked with bringing back the 3-headed dog, Cerberus, who guarded the gates of the underworld. Heracles asked Hades if he could bring Cerberus with him, and the god agreed that he could, so long as he was able to subdue the beast with only his bare hands. Heracles was successful and slugged Cerberus on his back before returning from the underworld to present the beast to Eurystheus.